Your car has heated seats. The wiring is installed. The button is there. But the warmth is locked behind a monthly payment. Your printer is on your desk. The ink is inside it. Yet canceling a service can make that ink stop working. And on your phone, a free trial becomes a charge so quietly that the subscription may outlive the reason you started it. This is the strange bargain of modern ownership. You can hold the product, pay for the product, and still need permission to use it. So why do subscriptions increasingly feel less like convenience and more like a trap? The obvious answer is corporate greed. Sometimes that is part of the story. But greed alone does not explain why this model spreads so successfully. The deeper answer begins with a business innovation that solved a real problem, then crossed a boundary consumers never agreed to move. For software, subscriptions made sense. Programs needed updates, cloud storage, security patches, servers, and support that continued long after the first purchase. For customers, the appeal was equally real. A small monthly fee felt easier than one large upfront price. For companies, recurring revenue was more predictable than hoping customers returned every few years for a new version. That predictability funded updates, reduced piracy, and turned software from a boxed product into a living service. So the subscription itself was not the betrayal. It worked when the payment continued, because the service continued. The problem began when companies copied that logic onto products whose main value had already been built, shipped, and paid for. BMW offered the clearest example. In several markets, drivers could pay about $18 a month to activate heated seats. The heating hardware was already inside the car. No technician arrived. No new seat was installed. Software simply changed its status from locked to unlocked. From BMW's perspective, standardized hardware could simplify manufacturing, while software let customers activate features later. From the driver's perspective, the company was charging rent on a component already sitting inside a car they had purchased. After intense backlash, BMW dropped the heated seat subscription in 2023. That retreat revealed the real conflict, not price, but the meaning of ownership. To see why that conflict matters, look at how subscriptions change the shape of a purchase. A normal purchase ends with a transfer. Money moves to the seller, and control moves to the buyer. A subscription never fully ends. The company keeps a switch, an account, or a server between you and the thing you use. That continuing connection can provide real value, but it also gives the seller a new power, the ability to change access after the sale. Once that power exists, design can exploit something very ordinary, not stupidity, but inattention. Signing up is usually fast, bright, and frictionless. Leaving may require hidden menus, repeated confirmations, or a conversation designed to make you stay. Each obstacle is small, but small obstacles matter because the charge is also small enough to postpone dealing with it. This creates a business category that rarely appears in advertising. Revenue earned not from enthusiasm, but from inertia. The customer may still be choosing, yet the system is built so that doing nothing benefits the company every month. Cricut showed the next layer of the problem. Its cutting machines were sold as tools for people to create and upload their own designs. In 2021, the company announced that users without a subscription would be limited to 20 personal uploads per month, or a conversation to make you stay. Nothing physical had changed. A machine people already owned was about to lose a basic ability because the rules around its software had changed. The backlash was immediate, and Cricut reversed the policy within days. Customers were not rejecting subscriptions, they were defending the bargain they thought they had already completed. That is the mechanism behind the subscription trap. Recurring payment becomes dangerous when it combines three things: unclear ownership, remote control, and friction against leaving. Unclear ownership makes buyers think they purchased a product when they may have purchased only conditional access. Remote control lets the company rewrite what the product can do after it enters the customer's home. And cancellation friction turns a temporary decision into a recurring revenue stream, even after the original value has faded. And frictions. None of these elements requires a conspiracy. They emerge naturally from a system rewarded for predictable revenue and lower customer churn. The best way to reduce churn is to create more value. The cheaper way is to make departure slightly harder than staying. Once firms discover that difference, the subscription stops being only a pricing model. It becomes a system for managing customer behavior. That does not make every subscription abusive. Cloud software, media libraries, security services, and live data genuinely create ongoing costs. The useful test is simple. Does each new payment fund new value, or merely restore access to value already purchased? If the service disappears when the company stops working, recurring payment may be reasonable. If the product still works locally, the claim becomes harder to defend. So the old explanation was partly right. Subscriptions spread because they are convenient. They also spread because recurring revenue is extraordinarily attractive. But the backlash begins where convenience ends, when access can be withdrawn, prices can change, and leaving requires more effort than joining. Consumers have already adapted. Many now rotate streaming services, subscribe for one show, then cancel before moving to the next platform. Media companies respond with weekly releases and new bundles, ironically rebuilding something that looks increasingly like cable television. Lawmakers are responding too. California's AB 2863, effective July 1, 2025, tighten rules around consent, renewal notices, price changes. The direction is revealing. Regulators are not banning subscriptions. They are targeting the hidden advantage created when companies control attention, timing, and the exit door. The future is therefore unlikely to be a world without ownership or a world without subscriptions. It will be a fight over the boundary between them. Return to that heated seat button. The metal, wiring, and seat belong to the car. But the software decides whether they belong to you in practice. That tiny gap between possession and permission is where the modern subscription economy found its most profitable opportunity. It is also where consumers are now drawing a line. Paying again is acceptable, only when something new is still being delivered.